is George with you on BFBS, the Forces Station. Next month, it's the 40th anniversary of the liberation of the Falkland Islands. And as part of the anniversary celebrations, the Falkland Islands government have launched a competition for 8 students to win a free visit. I've been there myself many, many years ago, but it is spectacular. And who wouldn't want to hang out with penguins on the beach? 2 of the organising committee join me now. Dr. Al Pinkerton from Royal Holloway, University of London, and also Tamsin McLeod, who's Falkland Islands Junior Ambassador. Good morning, guys.
Good morning, George.
Hi.
Now, Tamsin, I'll come to you first because you're actually a 6th generation Falkland Islander, aren't you?
Yeah, I am.
So what's your job role as Junior Ambassador?
I just get stuck in with everything, really. Like, I help with events, help promote the islands. I just love chatting about home, so it's just an opportunity to do that a bit more.
And you must miss it as well. Pretty different in London than it is back home.
Yeah, definitely. It is a completely different world, but it's kind of nice to shake things up.
And Al, give us a brief outline of your background.
So I'm a political geographer. I specialize in the area of geopolitics, and I've been working in or around the Falkland Islands and other British overseas territories for, probably about 20 years. So I was an official observer of the Falkland Islands referendum in 2013. I conducted a lot of my PhD research in the Falklands far too long ago for me to acknowledge how long ago that was. And I've remained, really interested in the Falklands ever since. And of course, as we get to this really important anniversary, this is a moment for me to turn my attention back to these amazing islands.
And if you had to describe it to someone that's never been, what would you say?
Well, first of all, it's very far away. I remember the first time I traveled, it took about 2.5 days, 3 days to get there, flying to Santiago in Chile, and then right down to the bottom of Chile, and then back to the Falkland Islands. So that was very striking. But I think in terms of the islands themselves, just how welcoming they are as a place. I was completely embraced there for about 6 weeks when I was a PhD student, and people were just incredibly kind, incredibly friendly. It reminded me a little bit of a kind of West Coast Scottish town or village or set of islands. That was a kind of point of reference for me. But as I've gone back, I've realized, gosh, there's so much more there than you find on a typical West Coast Scottish island. You don't get penguins, sea lions, and leopard seals off the coast of Scotland routinely. So it's an amazing place filled with a rich history and extraordinary natural environment. And it's well worth a visit if people can make it there. And they can, as a result of this competition.
And you are right. It is very, very far away. I remember the journey myself. It takes so long. So, Tamsin, tell us about the Falklands 40 competition. What's the prize? Who can enter? And how do they enter?
Well, the prize is that some students can visit the Falkland Islands and spend a week there, seeing all the penguins, living with all the penguins, and getting to know the islands a bit more intimately, and meeting everyone, experiencing the different cultures and the wildlife and the scenery. I mean, who wouldn't say yes to that? And how you can enter? Well, we accept essays, written stories, posters, films, videos, podcasts, are the main formats that we're accepting for the competition. And it's mainly just, we're asking, what do you know about the Falklands? What does the Falkland Islands mean to you as a student that's 16 to 18? And just trying to raise awareness of the islands. There's not many people know where it is, know how far away it is, its history, its the Falkland Islands today in particular. Most people only know it in relation to the conflict in 1982. And so we want to inspire some creativity and chat more about the Falklands.
So say if you have a connection to the Falkland Islands, maybe you choose to do a little video explaining about that and why you'd want to find out more about it. Or if you have no connections, you've never been there and you've only just looked it up on a map, maybe you choose to do a poster about it or an essay about what you think you might find out there.
Exactly.
That's nice. It's really open to interpretation. And how long have students got before the deadline?
The deadline is the 31st of July, so we've got a little bit of time.
And Al, tell us what the winners will get sort of experience on this visit. What will they be learning?
Okay, so the winners, and we're anticipating that there'll be round about 8 winners of the competition, but we're keeping it open just in case we've got some extraordinary entries and we want to award a few more. The winners will, first of all, they will become ambassadors for the Falkland Islands. They'll get some training in professional storytelling techniques on how to do amazing film work when they're in the islands, perhaps increase their photography skills for the visit. But clearly, the main part of the prize is this incredible opportunity to visit the Falkland Islands. That will be a visit that takes place in February 2023. And because of the flight times, it will be probably between about 8 and 10 days. It'll be at the end of the Austral, the Southern Hemisphere summer. And yeah, the winning students will be able to spend an incredible 10 days in the islands, meeting government officials, meeting everyday Falkland Islands people, young people, visiting Mount Pleasant Air Base, we hope, as part of that visit as well, which is probably somewhere that you know quite well, George, but then just also experiencing the hospitality, the natural environment, the wildlife of the islands. And we're going to ask young people to keep a record of that journey, so that more young people can also learn about how incredible the Falkland Islands are. I mean, I think we recognize this is a really important anniversary. 40 years have now passed since the Falklands conflict, that, of course, devastating war, and so many people lost their lives in it. But the Falkland Islands has come so far over the last 40 years. And yet still people, when they think of the Falklands, they think of the war. What this project is about changing people's perceptions of what the Falkland Islands is today, and to recognize that it is an absolutely incredible cosmopolitan and thriving community of people who are self-governing and self-determining, and who live in the most remarkable, pristine, natural environment. And so this is about showing the next generation of British young people what the islands are and engaging them in its future.
And there's an explorer that we all recognise on the judging panel, isn't there?
I'm afraid there is. Yes, he's devastatingly handsome. Ben Fogel is going to be the head of the judging panel, and I think I'm right in saying this, Tamsin. Ben is a long-standing supporter of the Falkland Islands. He's been there many times. In fact, he was in the Falkland Islands just a few weeks ago, recording a documentary for the 40th anniversary. And yeah, so he is very much involved, but we've also got an incredible team of other people, professional storytellers. We've got somebody from Aardman Animations. We've got lots of people who are involved in this project who will be supporting the young people who win this competition through to that visit next year.
And there's actually an introductory film from Ben Fogel on the website where all the information is, falklands40comp.co.uk. Thank you very much for joining me, guys. And just before I let you go, and this might be one for you, Tamsin, it was a while ago that I was out in the Falklands. We don't need to go into how long ago, but I do remember going for afternoon tea in someone's house, I think it was, because you had to take your shoes off when you went in. Is that still a thing?
That's definitely still a thing.
Yes, I love it.
George, did they call it smoko?
Maybe.
I think afternoon tea, I think I'm right in saying, Tamsin, afternoon tea is called smoko in the Falkland Islands.
Yeah, and I just remember we all went there and it was kind of bizarre, but like wonderful. I love that that's
absolutely.
still going.
I've had that same experience.
Excellent. Well, let's hope the students get to go there. Guys, thank you so much for joining me, and best of luck with the competition. I'm sure it's going to be absolutely amazing.
Thanks, George. Really appreciate it.
Thank you.